sales or marketing? Which one is more important? And I know the easy answer is they're both important, right? Obvious, easy answer. Probably when someone reads it is they're both important. Blah blah blah. They complement each other. Understand?
Coach G commented earlier, and he just posted about this the other day. He's like, both.
Sorry,
Chase, you have to pick one.
Gotta pick one. So like,
can't vote. I only get one vote when I get to the ballot box. I can't vote for both sides. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how this is going down.
Harris or Trump? Both.
Both. I want them to share the presidency.
They need to co-president together, find ways to work together.
Isn't there, I feel like historically it maybe even happened once.
I don't know.
Isn't there some situation where there's like, if it's a constitutional tie, like it's like one of them becomes the vice president? That's really
never heard of that.
That's neither here nor there. Maybe someone who's got a better understanding of history can comment on that.
A history buff, please let us know. That would be great. Yeah. So I feel like the reason why I think this conversation is relevant is because to me, it helps me kind of understand which one is more important to lean into in terms of where your efforts are going. I agree they're both important. I think anybody would agree with that. But should you put more concentration and focus on one over the other? And I would agree there's a strong argument to state that you probably should. Maybe before we unveil our picks for this, maybe we talk about a little bit of each option a little bit and kind of why it is viable for your business. Maybe we start with sales. So sales, to me, I feel like has become, in general, a bit of a lost art in our industry in particular, but probably society as a whole. Sometimes I wonder if like the art form of being a good salesperson is
I think it's dead. I honestly think with the
right now.
I want to tell you right now what's about to happen. It is an extinction level event. What's happened? The upcoming generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they will not have salesmen or saleswomen. I think that they are so removed from social interaction in person, that so much interaction is happening online or through phones. You know, Christian and I grew up, we were still, you know, I had a cell phone, but it was texting and call. There was no, I didn't have social media on my phone. You know, I couldn't video chat with someone on my phone. Like if I needed to interact with someone, it had to happen face to face. There's so much interaction that can happen remotely now that I feel like this is dying. I really agree with what you said. I really think it's going away. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah, it surprises me a little bit to hear you say that you think it's dead already, like we're already there. Like,
well, it's
the fossils are in the ground, you know?
The meteor's in the sky. Let me rephrase. The meteor's in the sky. Okay. It's not that it's already dead. That's an exaggeration, but I see the meteor and it looks like it's coming.
From yesterday's pod, the moon is on the way down. You're looking up, and there it is.
The moon's getting lower. It's deorbit. The moon is deorbiting into our atmosphere.
Slowly but surely falling on your head, if you are sales. Yeah, I feel like it's undeniable, truthfully, right? I think it's undeniable. I feel like in general, our society has such a stigma on sales and salespeople. I mean, most salespeople don't even want to call themselves salespeople anymore because they feel like it puts them in a bad light, right? And some people even convince themselves of it too. I've made the argument for years that like if you are an agent, you are a salesperson. What you do requires sales skills. Even if you're not hard selling people, there's a proper way to do a presentation, right? There's a proper way to execute on an appointment and kind of, step by step maneuver that appointment in the direction you want it to go to get an end result of helping your client make a good decision, right? The best decision for them. Like that takes sales. There's no way about it. People like to say, I'm an educator. You're a salesperson, right? Like, there's certain, there's certain things you should say and you shouldn't say in an appointment. There's certain things you should say and you shouldn't say on a call, right? That being said, it's so stigmatized that I feel like more and more companies are trying to find ways on how to grow their business with having as little sales activity as possible. There's still some companies out there that, are big believers in the art of sales, right? And like they have salespeople,
Sure.
but they kind of have a little bit of a negative reputation. There's a lot of people that hate them.
Yeah.
Like, think about, both of us bought new cars, a few in the last 6 months, right?
Correct.
I dealt with 2 salespeople to buy each car.
Right. Same.
And they weren't very salesy, to be honest, but like there's a little bit in there, and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to deal with you. I'm just like dreading every second of it. I feel like at this point, from my experiences, I felt like the finance person was more of the salesperson than the car salesman actually was. The finance person's trying to bundle all this crap on that I don't need, and asking me to spread them a little bit, be like, please, it'll be a little fun. And I'll be like, nah, I'm not really into that, but you might be, you don't know, you've never tried. Like that person's the salesperson at a car dealership, I feel like, more than the car salesman at this point.
I've never done this before. On the Gladiator, the second car I bought, I got sold the warranty.
Oh, no.
I had never bought one before. And honestly, I think the reason I bought it is he was so non-confrontational about it. He was so chill about it.
He's like, yeah, warranty, big deal.
He's like,
that's 33% to your car cost, big deal.
It was not that.
I'm kidding.
It was a very small. I think honestly, the total cost was like $2,000 on this warranty. It wasn't a big cost.
Still too much.
I have this fear. Ironically, I'm wearing my Jeep shirt. I have this fear because this is the first time I've owned a Jeep, and I've heard people say like, oh, Jeeps aren't reliable. Jeeps are going to break down on you. So I didn't want to be on the hook for anything like that. So I did fall for it. But my experience is, it's interesting you mentioned the car thing, because I had 2 salespeople, 2 very different interactions. One was an older guy who was already retired, who was selling cars part-time. One of the most chill interactions. I would go back to the guy in a heartbeat. He was so chill, super friendly, just a, genuinely good guy. Like, after I bought the car, I was trying to get the hell out of there because I'd already been at the dealership for like 3 or 4 hours. He wanted to spend like 30 minutes to go through the car with me, make sure I understood everything about it. He was like texting me the next couple days, like, hey, is everything good? The other person I interacted with, super salesy, just horrible bedside manner. Like,
is this the other finance person or the salesperson?
No, I'm comparing the 2 salespeople.
The salespeople. Okay.
Yeah, the finance guy was also an older guy. It was hilarious. Where I bought the Gladiator, it was like the whole dealer. I mentioned this. I mentioned the whole dealership was seniors. I don't know what it was. Everybody there was like 60 plus. I don't know.
No one else buys cars in a dealership anymore.
It's like the wise guys. The wise guys over there. So great interactions though. Super chill. The guy who's super sad. But again, I think that's a direct reflection of us as salespeople. Is like, if you go into Mrs. Jones' kitchen, you sit down at her table, and you're going to try to twist her arm to get a policy from you, it's going to probably not be the best experience, right?
For sure.
But if you come in and you're like, hey, I'm a licensed agent. This is what I do. This is how this could potentially help you. This is what I'd recommend based on our conversation. And it's not like this high pressure situation. She might have a really great experience and start telling everyone about you. Right. I mean, that's exactly how my 2 car sales experience went. I would tell people to go to that other dealership. That other guy, I hate that guy. I hate that guy. I'd never want to talk to that guy ever again.
Yeah. It's almost like people associate sales with hard sales, hard closing, twisting of the arms. Whereas like, I don't know what the actual like dictionary definition of sales is, but my definition of sales is articulating yourself well enough that you make somebody believe that your product or service, or you as the representative, is a good thing for them. You present your product or service in the best light possible that can give people an opportunity to believe in what you're saying.